from Auschwitz, fire, right? I want to tell you something awesome, right? Is that something too bad? You know, the Heilige Klausenberger Rebbe, he was 29 or 30 when the Nazis came. Still for Shlomo, he's never very sick right now, already for many years. He had 11 children. He got married when he was 15. It's even too cruel to say. The Nazis made a big fire outside the train to Auschwitz. And they threw in anybody who was below 18 was thrown into the fire. He saw with his eyes the burning of 10 of his children. Not to be believed, right? There were two ways of handling it. Oh, he says there is no God. So they can't be in between, you know. They cannot be in between anymore, right? All he saw given to God, believing so much, right? Beyond himself, right? Beyond himself. Beyond human vessels, right? So, anybody's ever been Shabbos in Klausenberg? I don't know if the people talk about Shem daven like this, you know. Awesome. Sad enough is when he's so sick for so many years, and there's nobody in the world takes his place. Or you don't believe anymore, right? Can't take it. But those who came out from Auschwitz, you know, who are for real, what happened to them? Whatever mama she had a vision that God is all about, this is what God put into his heart. Right? Can you imagine how much God had to put into his heart at that moment that he should be able to hold on to God?
Who was this?
The Klausenberger Rebbe. Rebbe in Klausenberg, he's in Kiryat Sanz, you know. I mean, he's sick. He's already maybe sick for many, many years. But I'm talking now about 47, 48. He came to America, picked him up, and then he gave a long Torah, and then he davened Maariv. An ordinary weekday, right? How do we daven? We wash our hands. If you wash your hands, you daven. And while you listen to the davening, you don't know if it's Mincha, if it's Maariv, if it's Shachar, if it's Nila, if it's Yom Kippur, or it's Pesach, right? First of all, you know, the Gemara says, Chassidim or Rishonim would sit a few minutes before the davening, right? So the way he was sitting on a chair, preparing himself for davening, as he went tearing over everyone's kishkis, you know, and the davening, and after the davening. You know the Kotzker Rebbe, after he finished davening, it took him sometimes hours till he was back in the world. He was mamish not in this world. You know, I saw on others' phone, say in the morning the Kotzker Rebbe davens Shachas, right? Then let's assume the guy becomes this Rebbe, you want to eat something. I mean, he was a human being like you and I, right? He didn't know what they're talking about. Mamish didn't know. It took him hours. It took him hours to come back to the world. But you know what God says? Whatever, ever. Listen to this. Just imagine a Yid standing by the pyramids and their mamish is nearly dying. They're beating him up, the Egyptians. And this Yid knows, mamish, I'm here in Egypt to pave the way, because we'll go out from here to go to Mount Sinai and God will talk to us. Right. They knew when they come out of Egypt, they go to Mount Sinai. Whatever you dreamt that This will be it. This is how much I give you. This is how much I give you. So, Mamish, from now on,